Hey, everybody.
Hey, what's happening, everybody? Happy St. Patrick's Day. We got our green on, and trust me, this wasn't planned.
If you don't have your green on, pinch, pinch. You better have your green on, is all I can tell you. How's it going, Dan?
It's going good.
Ready for another episode?
Absolutely. Let's do some sharing.
Get this out of the way so we can get to rocking and rolling.
Right.
Do a little bit of sharing here.
Yep. In our usual spots.
Hopefully everybody had a good weekend this weekend. Looks like we've already got a few people on real quick. All right. Gotta like that.
Billy Hoffman's watching.
Hey, Bill, what's going on, my man?
Krishner.
Chris, what is going on? They're having an event, aren't they? Like a film festival thing over at their place?
Yes, they are. All right. Go here.
Over at, what is that? Beyond the Ears, right?
Beyond the Ears.
All right, I got one more to go, and I am ready, my friend.
Okay. That didn't make sense. But, okay, let's go here.
I got to set my iPad back up because I was using it this weekend. Talk a little bit about that here as we get going.
All right, just let me do some sharing.
Travis is on with us. Travis Menton, hey, thanks for tuning in tonight. What a trip.
What a trip it was?
Yes, we'll talk about that. I'll let you interview me, so to speak. Got some pics, got a couple little videos. Hopefully they all play out nicely.
Right?
Hopefully everything goes good. So I literally rolled back in here at 2:30, unloaded the Jeep, went upstairs, took a shower, shaved, and got down here and set the studio up. So I mean,
I'm glad you took a shower.
I am too. It was a long week. Hey, Wayne Sitton, what's going on, Wayne? Thanks for tuning in. Gonna get going here in just a second. Talk a little bit about
we'll talk about
Indiana deer hunting and a little bit of Rambo bike.
Right, exactly.
So, you about there?
Almost. One more.
All right.
One more.
Well, why don't I just get things rolling here?
Why don't you?
All right. Here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of the Up North Journal, everybody. I'm host Mike Adams, sitting in the cabin tonight with Dan DeFaw, who is busy working his thumb feverishly, sharing the show.
Yes.
And you got it?
I have got it.
All right. Your thumb is smoking, man.
Right.
All right. What's going on?
Not much.
I haven't talked to you in like 3 or 4 days. Well, actually, I talked to you a little bit.
Friday morning. While you were on your way down to Indiana.
That was about what, 7:30?
Well, 7:30, then for an hour from 8 to 9.
Okay.
We were carrying on business as you were driving.
Right. Hey, Denny Steiner.
Yeah.
Denny, hope the kidney stone is out of your future.
Oh, he had kidney stones? I didn't see that.
Yeah. Believe me, I know how he feels.
Yes, you know how that feels.
Yep.
You really do.
So,
but it's St. Patrick's Day.
It is.
It's March, middle of March.
It is. Thinking about deer hunting, man.
Thinking about deer hunting, thinking about turkey season coming up, thinking about the weather breaking.
Yeah, we need some.
I'm kind of, it's kind of getting there.
Kind of, yeah. I'll tell you what. Indiana ain't got anything on Michigan as far as weather goes.
As in,
it was worse down there than it was here at home.
Okay.
Yeah, putting this chip away there.
Yeah, but it's just one of those. I think it's time to break. I really do. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
it's getting to me now.
Well, I've been checking the weather for a week, hoping that actually for the last 2 weeks, especially here at home. Tried to get out on the ice. Wanted to get the Rambo bike out on the ice and see if I could do a little testing with it and see if I could actually pull an ice shanty, my ice shanty with it, and get across the ice and around for ice fishing.
Right.
And then after I did that last weekend, this weekend, I checked all week trying to make sure we had good weather leading into working on the property down in Indiana. And everything seemed to play out right until I got down there.
Oh, okay. Well, we're going to find out about that. But first, I think we should go back, kind of talk about the Rambo bike first, because we didn't get to talk to it last week because we had Jay Gregory on, which was a great show.
Yeah.
And that's been going good all week, and comments left and right. And
yeah, no matter what side of the fence you're on, with CWD. Go watch it.
Yeah.
A lot of good talk, a lot of things that make you think. And that was, I think he kind of comes across as that. He's outspoken, but he also said, doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on, you need to ask questions.
And that was kind of the basis of the whole. When we got to the bottom line of it,
Yep.
no matter what you read or what, you got to ask questions.
Right.
Get out there, ask questions, find out what's going on,
Right.
and start asking these people what is going on. So,
Tony Gertz on. Tony, just want to say, sorry I missed you today. I understand why, and hope everything's okay. So we'll just leave it at that. So thinking about your brother.
But yeah, so it was a good interview, even though he was in Florida, going to go golf. Actually, he went and visited the bear factory this week.
I saw that.
And he also
bear archery, that is.
Bear archery, and he also went turkey hunting.
Yeah, yeah.
So the Florida season has kicked off.
Yep.
And we wait here in Michigan.
Yes, we're anxiously awaiting the arrival of turkey season. Speaking of CWD, you brought an interesting paper in that we're not going to allude to, but wow.
Yeah, interesting, huh?
We're going to save that for another show.
Yeah.
Because I want to do some more digging into this.
Right. That's why I brought it in, so you can start to look into it, because
Yeah.
it was just one of those things that, again, ask questions and things that make you go hum.
Right. Yeah. So where do you want to start tonight?
Well, let's start about a week and a half ago, when it's probably 2 weeks now from yesterday that you went out on the bike.
Okay, I'm going to throw up a video I did for this if you haven't seen it on Facebook yet, and we'll talk about it as it goes along. If the audio is a little too loud on us, because I cannot hear it in program as we're talking, so I did turn the volume down. There's a little music with it, and there is some strobe effect in the video with the bike, so that's what you may see along with the music there. But let us know if it kills you guys there. So I'm gonna throw this video up right now. But yeah, I took it out on the ice, took it out to one of our local lakes here, and as you can see, you got the ice shanty in tow.
Yeah, I see that. It looks like he was pulling it no problem at all.
Yeah, actually, it worked great. I was really I wouldn't say surprised. I was really pleased with the way it handled.
How much do you think that you were trailering?
Between 75 and 100 pounds, probably.
Okay. Well, that's good. And then get it out there, and set it
in my fat butt.
I said trailering, not riding on it. It's funny in one of these videos, and I think that's the part where I see the guys in the background.
Yeah.
I wonder if they were staring at you.
There's 4 different people that came up and talked to me that day.
Really?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah. It was pretty cool. And, they're like, are you pedaling? I'm like, no, it's an electric bike. I said, you can pedal, but that was the whole deal there, was just getting out there and running the electric bike, seeing how it would handle, seeing how the battery held up and all that.
And the fat tires worked pretty good in snow.
Absolutely. There was, probably 2 to 3 inches hard packed snow there. I mean, it was hard. You can see, we're barely making a dent in it. And, you can see the arc there that I'm traveling, as far as turning. I wouldn't turn real sharp with it. I tried to one time, and it started to wash out a little bit because there just wasn't enough snow between me and the ice.
Yeah.
But no, it really didn't spin the tires. It took off and pulled and handled very well. So
that's awesome, so that especially on a lake like that, going from the boat launch where you were to the other side, it'd be no problem at all.
Yeah.
You could zip across there in a heartbeat.
That was the thing, is getting from one side of the lake to the other quickly. It pulled everything, and as far as a guy who's ice fishing, bopping around from lake to lake to lake, that doesn't want to spend money on a ATV or a snowmobile, you might consider a Rambo bike.
Right, exactly. And do you know what model that is?
That's a 750R. That's last year's model, 750R.
750R.
Yeah.
So that did a job for.
Yeah.
And then you got some video here that you got into the woods a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, pedaled around on it through the woods. It was, you can see a little bit of snow on the ground, but there was a lot of mud as well. This day was almost 40 degrees by the end of the day.
Yeah, it was getting warm when you were out there, and I really never noticed this, but the trees out there, they got Rambo right on the tree.
You like that?
Yeah, and right on the bridge too. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I never really noticed. I have to go out there and find that bridge.
You go out there and look for it.
I'm going to.
But no, it did its job, and now in the mud, there were some spots there that I didn't feel safe with my abilities at riding up and down the steep embankments in the mud. So yeah, I walked it or avoided them.
Well, that one spot, it looked like you were on the path, but you were coming down to the creek's edge.
Yes.
I was waiting for you to go in.
That at that point, I was.
It looked a little nerve wracking there,
Yeah,
so it was pretty cool. But yeah, no, so okay, so that's a 750R.
Yep.
And they have another one as well.
Yeah, 1,000.
Okay.
Yep.
But for that one, like you said, trailering about 75 worth of gear on the sled, pulling it on the snow.
Yep.
Probably, didn't seem to be an issue.
No, not at all.
So if you think you had a little trailer to hook up with that, it'd be all right.
Oh, yeah. If you had a trailer, you could put all kinds of stuff in there. Matter of fact, I know talking with Josh Hagerman, who we've done some work with, with these. He's got a trailer for his. I actually saw one down in Indiana at the archery shop that I stopped at. They had a trailer for theirs. And, they'll throw seed or feed or whatever, all kinds of stuff in it and pull it with no problem. So,
No problem. Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. Then.
And I actually had the Shanty, which is, a slick plastic bottom. I mean, clam. If anybody's ice fisherman, they know what those are made of.
Yep.
I had that on the concrete at the boat launch, and when I took off, the pavement was dry. There was no snow or ice on it, and it pulled it across that hard surface, no problem.
No problem at all.
Yeah.
And then when you got on the snow, it was easy.
Yeah, even easier. So
Easy peasy.
yeah, but it worked really well, and the people kind of looked at me puzzled and asked a lot of questions. Tried to get them to ride it, and they wouldn't.
Really?
Yeah, they're kind of apprehensive, and I'm like,
Really? Try it.
Take it out, run it around, But
Right. Try it out and see what happens, and you might end up liking it.
yeah, but
Think about it. You got your little bucket there, and you wanted to get to the other side, and you can zip no problem at all. It's dead quiet, so like you said, you're not riding the ATV across. So
you tired there, bud?
it's gonna be at the end of the week.
It is. So, but that was 2 weekends ago, and then this weekend I took off, went to Indiana to work on the property, the deer property. So.
Yeah, you went down to Indiana and put out some stuff and put up some stands and had a good old time.
I've never worked as hard in 2 days from daylight to dark in a long, long, long time. In cold weather.
Yeah, it was
Friday was horrible.
really.
It didn't rain, but it snowed and it sleeted, and the wind was blowing between 30 and 40 miles an hour all day.
Oh, the wind. Okay.
All day long. And the only time we really got away from it is when we got down into the creek bottom, into the woods, where we had some buffer, and then it wasn't bad.
Right, exactly, because it's pretty much open land there, so you're just at the mercy of the wind coming across there, right?
Right, yeah. I shot a little video with the drone, so give you a quick lay of the land here as we talk, let you see a little bit of what we're dealing with. But yeah, the wind was, I shot this on Saturday, but the wind was just howling incredibly all day Monday. But as you can see, a lot of water. That's one of the cornfields there. That's
so they got standing water.
Got standing water, and we had to deal with a lot of mud. We actually buried the war wagon and the quad 3 times to the axles.
The war wagon.
Yeah, so it was pretty muddy, to say the least.
Yeah, it looks like they got a lot of standing water, which is actually, I'm surprised, but I guess it's that time of year. It's going to be spring wet, right?
Yeah. Fields are wet down there. We got around pretty decent. The biggest problem we had with getting around was the skinny tires on the war wagon.
Okay.
We had all of our equipment on the back, actually.
Got a picture of the war wagon?
Yeah, I do have a picture of the war wagon here, so throw that up there. But as you can see, we threw all of our gear on. That's how we transport a lot of the stands around. Had everything we needed on there, but we sank that right to the axles.
A little 4x6 trailer?
Yep. So it worked pretty well, breaking stuff down, throwing it on there, having all the gear there, whatever we needed. But we got out there the first day. This is some of the things that we're dealing with right here.
Thorns?
Honey locust trees. Those are some things you do not want to come in contact with.
Run into?
Yeah, run into. So
they will mess you up.
They will definitely put a hurting on you. But while we were out there, we took. Let me see. Get this picture up here. This is one of the guys we're hunting with, and you see all that brush around there. That is honeysuckle,
Okay.
and that's pretty much like an invasive type species there that we need to start clearing and trying to get rid of some of that. But you can see how thick it is.
Looks like it gets pretty thick.
The deer have paths all through this stuff.
Oh, I can imagine that they would probably love it.
And you find intersections cross them with 2, 3, 4, 5 different trails. But they can just duck in and out of this stuff at will.
Yeah, because right now you're just looking at it and it's brown. But
Right.
when it greens up, it's going to get, you won't be able to see but 5 feet in that stuff.
Exactly. So on one fence row, we wanted to trim it out so we could get a bike down to an actual stand site. So Dan, Carr, and myself, he's got the Easy Cut sling pack, and so do I. So we took the loppers and our pruners and went to town, but that was pretty much covered up and we cleared that path out.
Oh, okay. So you just started and just started clipping away,
Started going at it, yeah.
throwing the brush off, and
Yep.
it's one of those things that it's a good time to do that because you can see where you're going first off. Mm-hmm. You can kind of know, because when it greens up, you're not going to be able to see it. So
Right. And the bike did real well down there. I didn't have any problems with the bike getting around on the property at all. The fat tires in the mud definitely made a huge difference in getting around.
oh, I can imagine.
So that's
Give you a little bit of traction stability is where you're going.
definitely, I'm going to be using that a lot during hunting season, getting to my stand locations, taking stuff out, what have you. It's just going to make a world of difference in me being able to hunt this property because it's so big. There's just a lot of open land there, so you got to have a way to get around and get around quickly. It's just you can see here the ag fields. It's
And that's the thing too.
It hunts big.
You got some big ag fields here, and once the farmer gets those planted up and green and getting tall, the only way you're going to be able to get around is just going around the outsides of these things.
right.
So that bike's going to come in handy when you're needing to go across.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're bumping up here on our first break. Why don't we go ahead and let's step outside, take our first break. We come back, we'll kind of run down the days in detail here.
All right.
And kind of let you know exactly what we kind of went
What
through.
you were
and what
up
we
to?
did. Yeah.
All right.
We're step outside and we'll be right back after this. All right, for those of y'all on the live stream.
You got any questions about Rambo bikes? Let us have it. Oh, Denny Steiner was expecting a boulder, and all that came out was a tiny 3mm pebble.
Brother, the only reason I giggle is because
You've been there.
I've been there. I've had 6 of them, man. I know exactly what you went through. And they're no fun.
No fun at all.
Okay. Hopefully everybody's having a good weekend this weekend. Like I was talking a little bit about the weather. Coming back home, man, it got nice on the way back home.
I saw the weather this morning, and they said there was going to be some stuff down in Indiana. I was wondering if you were going to hit that. But you came up through Ohio, right?
Well, yeah, Indiana, then to Fort Wayne, then cut across, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Then
Yeah.
came back up 23. Okay, here we go. Stand by in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to the second segment of the show. We're just sitting in the break talking a little bit about the weather. With the weather, the wind blowing like it did that first day on Friday, my eyes are still almost like
Sand?
yeah, wind burnt.
Windburned eyeballs?
Yeah, it's they're not painful or anything, but
No,
it's
but
just
they're
like
scratchy.
yeah.
They took a lot of abuse probably from the dust and the wind and
Right.
everything that, I don't think you were wearing glasses 24/7 to protect your eyes.
Did wear sunglasses yesterday for quite a bit of the day because it did get nice yesterday as far the wind died down and it was sunny pretty much all day. A bright
That's
sunshine.
awesome.
So yeah, I was wearing shades while I was out. But that's some of the things you don't really think about when you're going to be out working. Is some of the things you might need.
And when you do remember, it's usually too late.
Yeah, like we had the war wagon, and we kind of thought that through. We moved some stands, and anything that had old straps, just simply cut them, got rid of them.
Yep. Definitely.
One of the guys brought packages of new straps.
So, speaking of that, since we're talking stands, you were putting up stands, and it's spring here. Were these locations thought about after last year's hunt?
Some of them were, and we did some scouting as well while we were there.
Okay.
I found or we, not me, we found 3 or 4 sites that that I'd never actually been to before yet on the property.
Okay, right. It's only the second time you were there, so
Yeah. Well, no, it was only well, you're right. It's the second time I was there on the property. But it kind of started putting that puzzle together. And actually, Dave and I looked at drone video last night. After we got back to actually
back to the cabin on wheels.
yeah, this is where I stayed. This was down at the archery range down there. I'd stayed in the trailer, and actually that's Tony's trailer. And I hung out there. We'd get up next morning, get breakfast, get all of our supplies together, and then we'd roll out and have to make the long drive to the property. But we were going to put this on the property, but the problem was it's too wet. There's no place
I was
to put
gonna
it.
say you can't put it on there right now because
No.
if you were having troubles with a trailer,
Yeah.
you'd bury that instantly.
Yeah, so that we had to. It was just something we had to do. We had to make that drive.
Yep. And
So that added a little bit of time to our day, to and from. But you do what you got to do to make it work.
right, exactly, and that's one of the things that So exactly, you're doing the safety thing. You're getting rid of all your old straps, weathered straps.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, you don't need to play that game of being up a tree and go, "Oops, now I know what I forgot to do."
yeah. That's something that I recommend. That and I've not really done that in the past. I go if I move my stands, what have you, because I'll loosen up the straps, leave them setting up against the tree, whatever. I need to start paying more attention to that.
Usually look at them and look at them and see if there's any fraying going on or
Right.
any thinking about it. But yeah,
Especially with the hang-on stands
hang-ons. Yeah, hang-ons are a little bit different.
and climbing sticks.
Yep, those definitely you should be in tune with what your straps look like because you don't know little Mr. Squirrel could be chewing away at it on the back side. You won't know
Right.
it till
Right.
too late.
Right. Yeah. It's not worth the hassle of falling or getting hurt or whatever. The straps are cheap, and that's just something I think we often overlook.
But it's a simple, like you said, it's a simple
Yeah.
change.
So kudos to the guys down there of thinking that through and having them there ready to go. So
Single set stands or doubles or
you mean as far as like 1-man or 2-man?
yeah, 1-man stands, 2-man stands.
Everything that right now we've got is singles.
Okay, single.
Yeah.
Okay.
A combination of a few hang-ons and a couple ladder stands. And I'm going to be bringing 3 ladder stands. There's a couple doubles that they've got that are ready. They got to put together and put up. So there's plans of where to put those.
So, do you guys are you guys thinking about putting together a aerial photo of the area and start marking?
Actually, we're using an app.
Are you using HuntStand?
It is actually. I'll let you know here in just a second. It is
Once he looks at his phone.
Yes, it is Scout Look.
Okay.
There's a free and paid version of that. Works pretty well, but any of those apps like that work really well. You mark locations for stands, you mark locations for food plots, you mark locations for cameras, trails.
Right, exactly.
All kinds of stuff.
And probably it's a good time now, especially when you can see it like this and you got some aerial footage of it and start marking things and
Yeah.
kind of planning where you're going to go from there. So you got the stands up.
Mm-hmm.
Now I know you got a picture. There's some pictures. You were starting to put out some minerals, or
No, not yet. Actually, we were just moving those.
you were just moving those.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Yeah, that's not going out yet. It won't be too long before we start getting some of that stuff out, though. But it was really good to be able just to look, have an overview over top, and see where things are. I mean, there were some creeks that I didn't realize were in proximity of other places on the property.
Oh, right.
Because I hadn't really walked a lot of it. And then I'm like, oh, okay, there's where that is in relationship to that spot. Okay, they're pretty close. So, using a drone, if you have that availability, I think is a great way to, especially if you got some new property and you're just trying to get an overview of where things are in relationship to each other. I think that's just a good way to do it. So.
Right, exactly. And that's, besides, you look at right on your phone, you got the app, you've got video from your drone. You start putting 2 and 2 together, and you'll start making a plan for this fall, which is October 1st when the season starts down there.
I'm pretty sure on that.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a license or anything bought yet, so it's still got that to do. But the thing that really got me is when we were looking at stand locations, is you look. I mean, I don't know if you can tell from this video or not, but these trees, a lot of them, they were simply just tall, straight trees, single trees with most of the limbs at the top.
Really?
Great for a climber.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, or, well, probably not even a tree saddle, because if you've got to have a way to get up, unless you got climbing spikes and just a lineman's belt, then you could get up there and do that. But you still got to be able to tie in somewhere.
Yeah, you got to be able to tie in with a
and
tree saddle.
most people tie in, around a branch or something like that. So
Right, and like when we were at the show and he showed us like what he was telling us about it, he just carries his climbing spikes with him.
yeah,
So
right.
he could but yeah, that would be interesting. So straight trees.
yeah.
Now, what we just saw in that video was that the area where they had the honeysuckle that was that throughout the whole entire property? Or was
It's
that,
pretty much through the whole
Oh,
thing.
was it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And actually, I got the opportunity to meet the landowners yesterday, and we were talking with them a little bit, and they're doing a timber forest management plan, similar to what like you're doing on your property and what we're doing at our camp in northern Michigan.
Right.
And part of that is a 10-year eradication plan of that honeysuckle, of clearing that out and getting that out of there.
Really?
Yeah. Just to improve the area and bring, let that forest floor start to regenerate,
Well,
and bring up some new growth, because everything there is pretty much old growth.
It'll choke it out real quick.
Yeah.
Especially, so it's a 10-year plan, and they're going to start with that plan when?
This spring, actually. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to go in and over the 10 years, they'll hope to cover that whole property and get that honeysuckle out of there, along with doing some tree planting. I think there's some tree planting coming in this year, and other things as well. So, but what's nice is they're working with us and trying to figure out, what we needed to make it a better hunting property, because that's what they want to do.
Well, that's it, right? They're working with you. That's number one thing, instead of you just showing up and
Yeah.
it's clear cut.
Yep.
Hey, how's that working out for you?
There's your deer hunting property.
Right, exactly.
Nowhere to put a stand.
Yeah.
So.
You got nowhere now to put a stand, but well, that's awesome. It sounds like you guys are developing a plan. It sounds like you were really getting on it. Getting the stands up early, getting them ready, so you could. Did you guys put out any scouting cameras?
Pulled some of the older ones.
Okay.
We got locations where we want to put some. We're waiting. Actually, we got a trail cam system that we were purchasing as a group. The Cuddy Link system.
Okay, so it's going to run on a cellular plan.
Yes.
All right.
So, and plus we'll have our own cameras as well. Like I've got a couple that I'm going to put into the system as well, and but those will have to be checked, and the cards have to be pulled. And
Right.
Management on those, unlike the other ones. So.
Right. The other ones, you're just going to, however you're going to set it up, you'll be instantaneous as to seeing the photos.
So hopefully by the next time I go down, maybe that will be in our plan to do some things.
Right.
And we'll see, what our list of to-dos is at that time.
I don't know what you guys got planned and all, but getting that up as soon as possible so you can start to see things as we getting here into April and May, which is going to be fawning season.
Yep.
And then you're going to go into, you're going to start to see
Antler
your
growth.
bucks
Yep.
start to see antler growth. So
Yeah. Yep. So yeah, it was exciting being back down there. Like I said, it's putting boots back on the ground. You actually, second time there, start to see how things work together. Seeing that, like I said, the lay of that land, where the creeks are, where they meander and where they connect, and how it works together with the deer trails.
Oh, right. And we didn't see. Did you see anything in your video from your drone of seeing the trails?
Could not really see the deer trails per se. All the ground surface was really dark. Just dark and wet, so they all kind of look the same.
You had a lot of water around. It looks like.
Yeah, the only thing we could really see, you could see water. You could see, where timber was down. That kind of stood out. But other than that, no. Yeah, nothing really popped.
Okay.
So.
That's awesome. That's just you're just getting on the land early, and you're not just going to show up week before season and throw things out there. And
No, and that's what's nice is the guys that I'm hunting with. They've spent some time last year on the property, so they've got that 1 year of knowledge ahead of me to kind of help, and spending time together out there on the property. in working together and like, okay, well, what do you think about putting a stand here? Well, where would you put it? How would you hang it? Or, we got this trail here. Would you put it, would you put it here? Would you put it over there? What are your thoughts? So those types of things, when you've got 3 or 4 people together, working together, it's, it's not like, okay, I'm going to put it on that tree and I hope it works.
Right. No. You're thinking it through.
You talk it through and you work together on it and come up with a plan, and try to maximize the potential of that area that you're going to put it.
I think what you already did, you've shown a picture of what you did with the Easy Cut. You cut that trail by the fence.
Right.
I bet you that's going to become a nice little...
It's interesting you said that. We cut that, and, we spent probably 2 to 3 hours working through there because, that it was a long trail. What you saw there was maybe half of it. It was quick work with the tools we had, but it was really long. And we went back Saturday morning, and we went to take Tony over there and show him where it was at, show him the new access to that location.
Okay.
And we came in the back way, and as we're walking in, I was like, I wonder if how long it would take the deer to get onto this. And we looked down, and deer were already using it. Because we had it completely cleared out and cleared all the brush out so you could walk through there, nice and easy. So there was no tracks when we left.
Right.
And by the next morning, the deer were just using it and tearing it up. So
there you go. So you're helping the deer already. They're liking it.
Yeah. I made our trail, but now they're using it. But I tell you what, we're bumping up here on second break. Let's take another break. We'll come back. We'll continue the conversation on this. So step outside and we'll be right back after this. All right. You guys got any questions?
Anybody
Fire
got
away.
any questions out there? Ken Secluna's on.
I need some eye drops.
Want me to spit in your eye?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't want you to do that.
I offered it up, man.
Oh, thanks. You're the guy that's just caring, right?
Yep.
Always thinking about me.
There you go.
Okay. All right. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome back. Third segment of the show.
Usually we haven't said anything, but usually, typically, we're sitting here having coffee, Hunter's Blend, and again, if you want some, try it. Make sure you get over there. Get 10% off by using our code capital UNJ when you check out. You'll get
10% off.
10% off.
HuntersBlendCoffee.com.
Exactly.
But why do we not have Hunter's Blend?
Because you've been drinking it all day and you are geeked up on it.
We've got to shoot archery tonight, and I'm trying to come down off my caffeine
blitz.
Yes, that's a nice way of putting it.
Right.
I've had like 2 pots of coffee today already, so tonight ought to be really interesting.
We're not going to add a third pot.
I'll probably be shooting the walls, the floor, and the ceiling.
You probably will be, and don't complain that you're not being able to keep still.
Right?
So I'll just go, excuse me, coffee.
Right. No, it's I drank a ton of coffee in the last 3 days. So, yeah, and a lot today. As I was coming back, I had a thermos with me. I had a big cup to start with, and I had one to start with this morning, and then I had some at breakfast.
And now you're here.
And now I'm here. So, yes. So
Okay.
that's the reason we don't have coffee sitting on
That's
the
why
table
we don't
right
have
now.
it today. Question for you.
Yep.
While you guys were doing this, were you getting an idea of what was going to be planted, where you're going to plant stuff?
Yeah, we actually come up with some locations for food plots, whether they be spring or fall, and also kill plots. My only concern is as many deer as there is there, even though there's a primary food source, they're going to do soybeans this year instead of corn. So they're going to have plenty of food, but it's like, okay, even with that, if we put, it's like, okay, we're going to give you a steak, we're going to give you some potatoes, we're going to give you some vegetables, and then when you get all done, over here's the dessert. Well, where are you going to want to go? You want that different stuff, and you've got that many deer on the property. I'm afraid our plots are going to get smoked.
Well, you might have to think about,
because you know what happens up at our northern camp.
Well, yeah, it doesn't grow much.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question I'm going to ask you is, are you going to put these in yourselves with the tools that you have, 4-wheelers, et cetera, et cetera?
Maybe.
Okay. All right. So then My next question might be is you might have to fence it off.
Yes.
Because if it's soybeans,
Yes.
and here's the problem with soybeans is,
They're going to get harvested about the second week of bow season.
well, there's that, and
Down
there's also, if it's corn, the deer usually tend to just stay in the corn and don't
Right.
have to go anywhere.
Right.
Well, now soybeans, you can see all the way across the field.
All right. Right.
So now it's like, okay, those deer got to go somewhere.
Right.
So now they're going to be in your woods.
Yep.
And like you said, if you put a buffet there for them, they're going to say, hey, well, why should I go anywhere? Because I'm just going to sit here and eat.
Well, that's just it. You know, it's like if you go to dinner somewhere at a restaurant and you eat, and on the way home, it's like, well, I got a sweet tooth. I'm going to stop at the ice cream shop on the way home.
Exactly. That's
So,
you know, and that's funny you mentioned that because it's you just might have to get a battery and some little electrical fence and kind of
we talked about that.
you know
Yep.
get it blocked off to let it grow, and then when you guys are ready to hunt, pull it down so it gives them they can
Yep.
come in then. But I think being soybeans, which they planted corn there last year, you said.
Yes.
Wow. I bet you're going to see a lot more deer this year in the fields, just for the sheer fact of you will be able to because of the soybeans.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think you're going to see them probably primarily on the edges, you know, if coming out of the woods to the edges. Like you said, there's not going to be that cover of the standing corn to protect them.
Right, and they'll lay down in it for a little while, but typically, like once they get into the thick stuff and they can hide in there, and it's probably cooler in there.
Right.
You know, it'll be
Yep.
cooler in there because it's thicker and more shade. Then at night they'll head out to the soybeans when they're ready.
Right.
You know, they'll nip the tops off of those things. But yeah, no, it's you know, you're thinking about where you're going to put it now and get it ready. It's just now how you're going to protect it because you know they're going to want it.
Oh, right. Yeah, exactly. It's,
Fresh green tips, yummy.
You know, we did see a few deer while we were down there this time. Not as much as did the first time. I mean, obviously we had the gear out. You know, we're making noise. We're doing some cutting. Actually, ran the chainsaw a little bit. Had to cut some logs out of some trails and things like that. But you know, walking around, we're seeing a lot of this. You know, a lot of decent tracks. I
Nice
mean,
little track there.
yeah, you know, he's not a bruiser, but we laid a dollar bill next to that, and that's almost the length of a dollar bill.
Right, he's a
So.
decent sized buck, no doubt about it. He's putting his foot down in that mud and it's
Yep.
sinking in.
Yeah, and you know, you'd see tracks all over the place like this. I wish I had the picture up, but there was a trail that was just beaten down. I took a picture of. It was 6 to 8 inches wide, and it just you could see it in the distance as it ran. You know.
You know, we've talked about the food source. What about a water source? I see, like in this picture you're going to show here, where you found some bone. Actually,
Yep.
You got some standing water there.
Yep.
Now that's going to go away. Eventually, that's going to
Yep.
go away. I don't know if there's any lowlands on the property.
We got the creek, the main creek.
So is that going to be like the major source of water running through it?
Yeah. Well, there's a little oxbow creek that runs through there as well that keeps water up until late in the season before it actually starts to dry up. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there's usually water available. The creek is probably waist deep at its deepest spot.
Okay.
And it's got a decent current to it, so it's I don't know that deer like to drink out of fast moving water. Somebody down there said that they like that still water because it doesn't make noise and they can hear better.
Well, they'll drink out of,
What they have to.
yeah, they'll drink out of a rut in a road if they
Right.
have to, or they'll in a field when the field's planted, they'll end up being standing water somewhere. Now they do get a lot of moisture off the corn leaves and stuff.
Right.
I don't know if they get the same amount off what they'll get off of soybeans, but you know, it's just I'm just trying to think of all the. So this one, you found this piece of bone walking through the area.
One of the kids that was out there working with us actually found this when they were running the quad to get supplies for us. It's the only piece of bone we found. I was looking pretty much.
Is that a 4 or an 8?
That's a 4. The brow tine
Okay,
there
there's
by
a
my
brow.
finger is broke off.
Okay, so
Yeah. The brow tine was probably about as big around as my pinky there. That's kind of hiding behind where it's broke off there.
now did anybody own up to seeing this buck?
No, David said he thought he might recognize it because of the kick on the end of the main beam.
Okay.
You know, it's kind of got that little dagger,
Yeah, it's got that little.
swept up look to it. You know, he said he thought he recognized that.
Okay.
But if you look like where the where it would actually attach to the pedicle.
Yes.
He held that bone up, and we started talking about it, and he's like, if you look at that, it was real. That's not like what you see on our Michigan butts where they sweep out wide,
right,
and make that hook. This is more up like this.
Well, we saw the videos you took last or January.
Yeah, it fits that genetic profile.
Yeah, it fits that up,
swept up, and real tall
high
and narrow,
high
and
rack,
narrow. Yeah,
high narrow rack bucks is what we've seen in the video.
Yeah,
that you have in that area,
and that's the way this one. If you look at the where the bottom of it,
if you take that and you kind of
you hold it at the right spot where it would attach on a deer's head,
you can
it
see
gives that same profile. Yeah,
yeah, that's the thing. You're having that genetic. So I tell you what, it sounds like if you're gonna find a wide rack there, that's gonna be interesting to see.
It'd be out of the ordinary, actually. 'Cause
Right.
everything I've seen has been tall and narrow.
Right,
real tall. But
so, it just they. And we didn't find the matching one.
No, and actually that one was probably 2 years old. It was in some tall grass, tines were up, and the bottom of it was real dark, so it had been laying there and sun bleached.
Oh, yeah,
So-
that's been there a while.
Yeah, they figured it was probably 2 years old.
Right.
So,
Wow.
but I kept my eyes peeled, and I had polarized sunglasses on, trying to cut the glare down as we were running on the quads. I was standing up in the back of the trailer, hanging onto that back tailgate, and I was surveying and looking as much as I could every time we took off and went somewhere. Or if I was on the Rambo, I was looking as I was driving,
Right.
trying to find it. But we just didn't see any.
Really? That's surprising me.
Me too. I was
thought
surprised.
for sure you'd find, especially the way I saw those from your videos, seeing the fields are brown and bare.
Yeah.
You know.
But everything looks like a corn stalk, a crushed down, a laid down corn stalk that's been
That's
cut.
true. You actually have to walk it.
Yeah.
You have to walk it and walk right up on it.
Yep. So and that's the way that one was. That was in some tall grass, and they just happened to see the tines sticking up. So
Okay.
that's the way that one got found.
Got lucky there.
Yeah. So
Nice. But all right, so you're gonna be planting. Got your water source. You got your stands started to be set. Anything you guys got planned? Like, well, we talked a little bit about the getting the cameras out. Anything for like the first part of the season when we get into fawning or anything like that? You guys planning to do anything for that, or just let?
pretty much let nature take its course. There's one section of field that's going to be done in like a CRP field.
Okay.
So it's got real tall grass in it.
Right, it does.
So it's going to be great fawning cover, and it's going to be great bedding as well. So that's going to be primarily, and it's kind of like in the core of the area.
Okay.
So it's going to give them some seclusion. The only problem is coyotes. I did see 2 coyotes while I was down there.
You did?
One on the property and then one down where I was staying. So
Okay, so you did see some predation.
yes,
Now coyotes is the only critter down there, right?
pretty much. Yeah. We talked about that a little bit
Yep.
while we were there. I mean, obviously there's no bear there. Bobcat's not real plentiful like it is here in Michigan, especially up where you're at and where I'm at. There's more bobcat there than obviously down here where we live. But yeah, that's pretty much
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So you just gotta worry about the coyotes and
We did find 2 carcasses that appear to be predator.
Okay.
Well, one's predator, definitely predator. The other one we're not real sure on. We're hoping it looked like a bigger bodied deer, and we're hoping it wasn't one of the bigger bucks.
Okay.
Yeah,
well, yeah. You never know. They must have been pretty bad if you couldn't see the skull plate or anything like that. And
Yeah, no, there was just a spinal column and the hips. That was it.
yeah, they're kind of ravaged.
Yeah, but it was a big bodied deer. So
Really?
Yep.
Yikes.
But yeah, that's pretty much it in a nutshell. As far as
Well, you got
what
your
we did
plan in
there.
place.
Yeah, we're starting to put it together and moving forward with it. We go back in April. We're gonna hopefully have green up. And we'll do some spraying of the places we want to plant and get that ready to plant.
Okay.
So we'll do some vegetation kill off there, and just get ready for plant season.
Yeah. Now, are you gonna run 2 planting seasons, the summer and then come back for a fall plot?
Yes, that's what we talked. Actually, a couple of locations we talked about making them exclusively fall plots because they're so small. I was like, even at that, I said we're going to have to do something to keep deer away.
That's
from
the
this.
ones you're gonna have to, because
I said they'll come through. You put a couple deer in them things, and they're just going to smoke it.
yeah, exactly.
time.
Well, that's the thing, right? You got to watch that. That's why we talked earlier that you might have to get an electric fence around it just to let it give it time to grow,
Right, exactly.
and then that would be awesome. Because once you pull that off and they find that, they'll be back.
Oh, it won't take them any time to find it. Tell you that they'll know it's there. If we get it fenced off, they're gonna be trying to get into it. So,
Right.
I tell you what. Let's take our last break. We'll come back. We'll kind of wrap things up and see if anybody's got any questions. So we're gonna step outside. And we'll be right back after this.
Got any questions, folks? We're down to our last segment of the show. We're down to 2 weeks shooting here.
That's right. This next week will be our last week. We'll be on at 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
After that, we will go back to our 7 p.m. time slot. So back to normal.
Back to normal. And it'll still be light out.
Right? Yeah, that's the thing that
like
amazes me is the fact of how late it stays daylight now.
Right?
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Last segment of the show.
Last segment of the show.
I was accused of bringing bad weather down there from Michigan. I want to make this perfectly clear. When I left Michigan, it was warmer when I left here Friday morning at 4:30 a.m. than it was in the middle of the day in Indiana on Friday.
So you actually tried to bring it down, but they blocked you and they kept you in the cold.
Yep. And when I left today, it was snowing.
Snowing?
Yeah, and the further north I drove, I got maybe 10, 15 miles on my trip, and all of a sudden it was almost a whiteout.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, yesterday morning here in Michigan,
I heard.
they had whiteout warnings.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. They traveling around was kind of interesting, I guess. I just kind of stayed and watched it from the inside. It was the safest place.
Probably the best place to be.
Right, exactly. So, you just...
And it's actually warmer here than it is in Indiana where I was at this morning.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And the weather's better. It's sunny out. Well, it's not now, but it was when I got home. So,
we got 2 weeks left of shooting.
And it's cloudy, I guess. It's not too bad out. But
Yeah, it's...
2 weeks of shooting left.
2 weeks of shooting left. You're going to be all jazzed up tonight. Got 2... I was going to say cups, but it's more like 2 pots of coffee.
2 pots of coffee, yep.
All right.
I'm all caffeined up. I'm ready to go.
Last week, actually, I think we're doing okay. I think for me personally, coming out of this league, I'm getting to where I wanted to be. I'm almost there. I wanted to be consistent. And last week was probably the most consistent.
You're consistently working your way forward. You're marching up, and I've kind of been erratic.
That's what my goal is. I'm trying to be consistent on the target and not have so many outliers.
Right.
And when I do, it's like, okay, you know why you did that.
Oh, yeah, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
It's my shooting, I'm more aware of when I do something wrong. I know why. And that's a good thing.
Exactly. You're starting to identify what you're doing.
Yeah. So that in turn is making me a better shooter. What I've got to do is get into that repetition of, and you've heard me talk about this many times on the range, more forward pressure. Pressure. When I don't have forward pressure, I break down on the shot, and that's when I throw a shot.
That's a good one. Is when you break down the shot, because I do that sometimes, and I'll creep forward, and it starts just all going. It's like, hold on.
Yep.
And then like I'll hear you say, because typically we shoot next to each other whenever we shoot.
Yep.
And I'll hear you say to yourself, I should have let down.
Yep.
And it's like, but
do you talk to yourself when you're shooting?
I always talk to myself.
Out loud? I really don't hear you talk much.
No, I don't think out loud.
Yeah, I do.
I'd like to sing, truthfully, but...
Yeah, I'm like, big dummy. What'd you do that for?
I've heard that a couple times. Yep, I've heard that. But I think we're improving. I think for our first time doing an indoor league,
yeah,
for where we were in January to where we're coming out of here in March, 3 months later, I think we're getting there. It's
But you switched up a lot of gear here in the last week. All of a sudden, you just like threw caution to the wind and went, "I'm doing all this."
yep.
How'd that work for you?
I was more consistent, so it was like, and my score didn't really take a tumble.
No, I think you shot?
I shot
better?
average, just a little bit above average, I think.
I think you did.
But it was like, oh, no time like the present.
Right.
Better put it under league pressure.
So you switched.
I switched. I switched over from our SD arrows. I picked up some PSE Carbon Force 023s, some big
Telephone poles.
not the telephone poles
No.
that you can shoot, but they're the thicker arrow.
Yeah.
And
Larger diameter.
larger diameter. And I asked Jim. I said, how much different are these going to be? And he said a lot. So I was kind of worried when I first shot, because you turned around and looked at me and goes, well, how long you been shooting those? And I looked at you and said, there you go, it's first time.
Yeah, I was like shocked.
And it wasn't different, but
What was different about it? What did you notice?
I had to raise my sight pin.
Makes sense.
I had to go up.
Wait a minute. You had to move your set up.
Yeah, I had to move my
'Cause
float.
They were shooting low.
They were shooting high, so I moved up.
They
with
were
it.
shooting high.
Yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I would have thought.
So-
I would have thought they'd been shooting.
No, I was shooting high left. And I
Okay.
was like, high left, high left, high left.
So they're not really heavier then.
No, well, all in all, they're not really that much different.
Okay.
It's like
They just fly different.
they just fly differently.
Right.
They're feathers instead of vanes,
Right.
which, okay.
Right.
And then I also added a lens.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the most important thing. It's, wow,
How did you like it?
I loved it. It's like, man, that yellow's like this big now. It was like, wow, I've never seen that before.
Okay, so now being able to actually see the target magnified, I got to assume that also magnifies your pin float.
Magnifies your pin float. Absolutely.
So did it look like it was moving?
And if I waited too long, yes,
It'd really start floating.
because we talked about this too in the past. It's like, you watch some people, they get up, they get ready, and they get ready.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I get there, I put it where I want it to go, and I let it go. Because if I wait, it starts wandering.
Dancing. Yeah.
It's like, okay, and then you start really overthinking it. It's like, no, just get it to where you want it, put it on the X, let it fly.
Do you put it on the X and shoot, or do you let it start to float towards X and then you fire as it gets to the X?
Okay, so how I've been working on this is I've been trying to hold it steady on the X.
Okay.
Typically, what I'll do is I'll let it float into the X and be steady, and then let it fly
Okay.
right to left. And I come in from the right, put it on the X, and let it fly.
All right.
Don't ask me why. It's just that's the way it was. I think I know why, because typically when I shoot at an animal, I'll put it on the animal and I'll follow where I need to go.
Yeah.
Like bottom of the body, back shoulder, let it fly. So it's kind of doing the same thing. It's like I about talking to yourself about it.
Right.
That's what I was doing. I was like, well, why are you doing that? And then I started thinking about it. Like, oh, you dummy. On a 3D target, that's what you do. You look at the target and say, okay, there's where I need to go. I need to go right behind the shoulder, right there. Let it go.
Now, shooting with glasses, I mean, I had to make that switch last year. 'Cause
Yeah.
My eyesight. Are you nearsighted or farsighted?
Nearsighted.
So you can see near, but you can't see far.
Right.
So
Well, no, I'm farsighted then.
I can't remember which way. So you have
I need bifocals too. So
Okay.
My distance, I have glasses just to tweak it a little bit.
Okay, so before the lens, you're looking at the target. You're looking past the pin and seeing the pin in your vision, and find that sweet spot on the target and let it go. Okay, now when it's magnifying, you're actually seeing it closer to your eye.
Right.
Did that affect your vision?
I don't know if it did yet, to tell you the truth. I don't know if I shot it enough. It didn't seem to be, but it was like, because the yellow was a lot bigger, but I was kind of messing around a lot too.
See, that's my problem is I can't see far or near.
Right. So
I'm wondering if I'm gonna have to switch glasses
no.
when I shoot.
So if you get a lens and it's still foggy or not as clear, that's what Jim has the clarifier for. Is you get one of those as well to match up the lens to the clarifier for downrange.
Okay. All right. Did you switch anything else up
No,
gear wise? Okay.
nope, just that. And I don't want to switch any more up.
Wait, and we'll get a new bow, and then we'll switch everything up.
If it's a new bow, that's a whole different thing. That's just one of those things.
Right.
But we got 2 weeks to go, and then we'll see what place we're in. I have no idea what place we're in now.
I don't even know how they keep track of how you win your round or whatever. I mean, it's you guys are probably laughing at us, but honestly, you know, we just go in and we shoot. I mean, I know how you keep score, but it's like you're shooting against the guy. Like if you're shooting top row or bottom row, the guys who come up behind you is that's the team you're shooting against. And I don't know if 1 week to the next if we win or lose. I don't know.
I've seen like we've taken a point and a half, 2.5.
Yeah.
There's handicap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
We just shoot.
We just shoot and having fun. I'm just
Right.
trying to improve my shooting.
Yep, exactly. That's all we can do is improve our shooting, and that's my goal.
So
That was my whole goal from the beginning. Have fun, improve my shooting.
I don't know that my shooting has improved that great. Well, when you talk about, you know, trying to keep them in the yellow, you know, in the 9 and 10 ring, you know, I'm condensing, and less and less and less I have fly outside that.
That's exactly
From week to week.
Exactly, because typically on the 3-spot target you have the blue ring, which is the 6 ring,
Yes.
and I shoot a single face.
Yeah. This the 3-spot target.
Right.
You know, and I'm trying to keep as much as I can in the yellow. I mean, obviously, you want to be in the center, but when I break down hard on a shot, I have every week for the last 4 weeks, I've actually thrown a shot outside the 6.
Oh yeah, yes you have, and I'll hear you say that.
That's when I say, yeah, I should have
Let down.
let down. You know, I can feel the shot break down as soon as I shoot.
You're right.
And it's anticipating the shot and I don't know if you call it trigger panic or target panic or whatever, but
Sometimes it's anticipating you pulling the trigger.
yeah, you know, I tend to overthink things.
Right.
If I pull up and settle quick and shoot, generally I'm pretty dead on.
It's like out in the woods. The less you think about it, just let it go.
Just yeah, it's muscle memory. Get into it and follow through and do it.
It's all up.
Let it do what it does.
It's all about the process.
So it's like I said, it's a learning process.
Yep. So, but we'll see how we do tonight, Mr. Coffee.
Yes, I'll probably be all jazzed up and be shooting all over the place, but
Or you're going to have one of your best nights.
we'll see. I'm not going to count on it. We'll see what happens.
That's how it goes.
Talking about next week's show, we've got a guest coming on, and during that, are we?
Yeah, we're going to announce something in the next show
Okay.
with
so
our guests that we're going to have next week. So stay tuned as a week.
we're not going to. Yeah.
We'll probably tease it out as we go through the week. Real quick, shout out to
Cobus and Ilana.
thank you.
From
saw them
Dries
Monday night.
Visser, yeah.
Yes, saw them Monday night. They gave their presentation over at Spot Shooters. There was about 13 people there, 14.
Okay.
Great presentation.
African hunts.
African hunts.
What'd you
And,
learn?
I learned.
We got a few minutes.
I learned that hopefully I'll win a free trip.
That's what you learned?
No, I learned that really, truthfully, their shots. He said that they set you up to be about, on average, 18 yards,
Okay.
and they're strictly bow
Okay.
on their 50,000 acres.
Okay.
But if you are a gun type of person, they do have another 20,000 acres that they can take you to use gun.
Okay.
Sometimes they have a gun person come and they ask them, would you shoot a crossbow? And they have.
Okay.
So there again, they try to keep the crossbow and compound bow on their big acreage. And if you want to do something else, they have another area they can take you for rifle.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they got game aplenty down there, and he said we'll put you in front of the game. Now you just got to connect it. And truthfully, there was a young lady there. The father asked what would be a poundage wise, and he says basically you can follow the whitetail rule here. If you can do it for a whitetail, it's pretty much down there. You can do it for most of the game there.
Okay. So 35, 40 pounds.
Right.
Okay.
And he said they had a young using 38 pounds.
Okay.
At 12 yards. They just brought the bait in a little bit closer.
Okay.
And she got it. So, but yeah, basically if whatever you use for whitetail here, it's same down there.
Okay. Typical African big game?
Yep. Typical African big game, anything from a gemsbuck to a wildebeest to the big ones that they got there. That
Cape Buffalo?
Cape Buffalo, I think they do have there.
Lion?
I'm pretty sure they do. If you got enough money, they'll hunt it.
So you can do the African Big Five.
Yeah, and they do have several different ones. They have the impalas, they've got the wildebeest, they've got, they got them.
Okay.
So, but they were in town. I got to talk with them. We're going to try to do an interview with them. It'll be interesting how we do it.
Because it's a 7-hour difference.
It's a 7-hour difference. Yeah. So we might have to pull a early morning show. And then we talked about internet and about making sure they have internet, and that was kind of fun.
That could be interesting. Yeah.
But they've been here for 3 months now, and they're getting ready to go back. The 21st, I think, is when they're flying back. They're down in Columbus for that show. Then they got some stuff they need to wrap up at a couple shops, and then they're out of here.
Okay. Well, I know somebody pretty well that's a couple guys that are going on a hunt over there.
Oh yeah,
so when they get back, we're gonna have them on. I don't want to spoil it.
No. But they mentioned that, so I know who you're talking about, and it's funny you say that because they're like, especially with the 7-hour time difference, and it's just like, well, we could call you on our typical time, and it'd be like 1 o'clock in the morning there.
Right.
No. But yeah, they were in town to give over at Spot Shooters, and if you're ever thinking about doing some African, the price really is not that bad. It starts at I think their cheapest hunt is basically $1,000.
Okay,
and then you can go from there.
Well, I remember Jerry Long, who used to run with us here on that North Journal. He went with Dries Visser back when he went. We actually, I don't even remember what episodes those were, but that was really early on with the Up North Journal here that I talked to him about that. I think on a couple different episodes.
Okay.
That we talked about his trip over there, how he hunted, what he hunted, how to get it back, and all that kind of stuff. So.
And their whole presentation that they did, they went through everything. Okay. They went through the hunts you can go, what airlines to go.
Okay.
And here's a little tip. The one that's doing taxidermy here, and I can't remember who the taxidermy guy was, but how he's been doing it. This will be his second year, and he's picking a different place to go to fly. He's going to go somewhere first to do some sightseeing, and then fly to Africa.
Okay.
But you can fly direct out of Atlanta, I think is what they said.
Okay.
Don't quote me on that, but you can take a direct route. Or you can take and go somewhere else and then end up in Africa. They told you what airlines they like to use. They kind of told you how the process is. You can actually have your animals done there, taxidermy-wise, but you got to think about that as well. It's going to cost you a lot of money, and it's got to be packed, and then it's got to be shipped, and then you hope to get it here in one piece.
Yep.
Or they do kind of the whole taxidermy thing down there, and then do your hides and everything, and then they ship it here. It'll take about 3 months to get it from there through customs up here, blah blah blah, to your taxidermy.
Okay.
So you're not going to go on a hunt. You're not going to have your, depending on how quick your taxidermy guy is.
Right.
Add 3 months to that.
Right.
It takes you 3 months, and it's a few $100. You don't have to pay for it right away, so you don't have to,
shell it out. Right. Gotcha.
Yep.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's go ahead and wrap up the podcast portion of the show here. We'll stay on for a few more minutes on the live stream, but that'll do it for us this week. It was a great trip to Indiana, and we'll be back again next week. Same time, be our last show at 4 o'clock next Sunday. Y'all take care. And for those of y'all on the live stream, got questions, wrap it up quick because we got to go shoot.
Wow, we're behind.
Yeah, we are just a little bit tonight. Just a little bit. Not bad.
Yeah, well, I think we're probably about at typical.
Yeah. And you don't want to miss next week because, like I said, we got a guest coming in on the show.
Guest and an announcement next week.
So y'all make sure you tune in for that. And if you guys actually watched the little tease video that Danny did, you've seen me with a little piece of paper in my hand. It'd be really interesting. We got to do some research.
Right.
But that could be
another interesting show.
That could be a poop storm.
Right?
Yeah, that could really
interesting.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that. So I tell you what, you guys have a good week. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and all the good places.
Yep.
You got stuff, questions, whatever, send them our way. Want to just thank the guys in Indiana for their hospitality. Tony, thank you for the use of your camper to be able to lay my head down and sleep. Good food down there when we got out and eat in the evenings. The weather was not great, but we made the most of it, and I had a blast. So y'all take care, and we will be back again at 4 o'clock next Sunday. Y'all take care.